The Vampire Stream. The Vampire Stream. The Vampire Stream. Whoa. The Vampire Stream. What up, Fight World? We back. Smash the like button for the Vampire Stream. Big Block, what's up? Shout out to everyone. Listen, let's get started. I don't know how long we're going to be. Yeah, I feel like getting started. I'm a machine. I'm an animal. There's no one greater. I make boxing look pretty. I make this look easy. Can't nobody outwork me. Listen, I've been doing this for so many years and can't nobody outwork me. They ain't got the heart that I got. Come on. There ain't nobody doing what I did. Brought it to the game like that. Stop playing with me. I'm the Bruce Wayne of boxing. You see that? I'm the Bruce Wayne of boxing. So we're going to sip on this tea, get some thoughts out. Shout out to everybody for joining me on the Boxing Ego watch party. Very lucrative. Massive success. Massive risk. Now we're going to get the ego final thoughts. Now that I don't have, like, the Boxing Ego watch parties are dope, but sometimes we get, like, you know, just new people, and I don't get to talk to my normal community because it's like so many just cash apps and super chats and new people. It's just a lot. Listen, I got to be the greatest that's ever lived in the world of boxing. I give you heat after heat after heat after heat, and Ego Stradamus strikes again. To me, this was an easy fight to predict. Devin Haney and George Kambosos. I literally told you guys this. If you guys watch the content, you don't have to believe me. Go watch the content. I really felt that the only level of intrigue was that it was in Australia. To me, that was the only thing that was questionable, because in boxing, we know that certain things are beyond the fighter's control. Like if there's partial, you know, like an impartial referee or biased judges, that's not even, has nothing to do with a training camp. That had nothing to do with your preparation, making weight. That's just above and beyond somebody robbing you and, you know what I mean, things like that. That was literally the only, I knew how the fight was going to look. I pulled up on Devin Haney when he was in the Bay at the snack gym in his training camp. And he looked sharp. He looked sharp. That one day I pulled up on him, he looked sharp. Terrence Crawford was there. He looked sharp. Terrence Crawford probably dropped some gems. You know, they worked out a couple times. I knew how this fight was going to look. This was, listen, y'all let me get paid off the easy work. And still undefeated. Now, the thing is, there's not even much for me to break down. Kambosos laid an egg. You see what I'm saying? Like, me, unlike a lot of boxing commentators or people with boxing channels and stuff, I don't force the issue. If there's like, I don't make for the sake of making something to talk about, right? There's really nothing to talk about in the fight because it was the Devin Haney show. There's really there's not this impeccable, crazy breakdown. It looked like Devin Haney's plan A worked from start to finish, from the rooter to the tutor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think Devin Haney had to get out of first gear for real. And Devin Haney got that kind of like the Money Mayweather-esque thing where depending on what perils you put him through and what paces you put him through, that's going to determine what gear he has to go to. You see what I'm saying? Icy, he laid an egg. That's what I say. He laid an egg, bro. That was a dud. I'm not talking Devin Haney. I'm talking about Kambosos. Listen, I respect Kambosos. He laced him up. I respect all fighters. Let me call in. What's your number? Icy. Come on, Icy. You don't smoke? Bro, who is this? Thank you, Nider. Bro, Devin Haney, you gonna have to be a Tank Davis or something to pull him out of a gear. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if there's no and that's how some pure boxers are. Like, if they having their way with you, they're not necessarily gonna do like Edeslandi Lara. You know what I'm saying? He's similar. Like, sometimes you got like slick, overall crafted boxers. They're not good. They're gonna whatever. Like, put it this way. George Kambosos laid an egg. I'll give you a perfect example because I'm the greatest that's ever lived. You look at Edeslandi Lara. The fight is going to be as exciting as it needs to be based on what you're doing. Period. If you fight like Jared Hurd, you seen what type of fight Edeslandi Lara was. You see what I'm saying? I was in Las Vegas. It was at the Hard Rock Casino. I think they changed the name of the Hard Rock. But yeah, I was there for that fight. David Benavidez was there. Caleb Plant was there. I interviewed both of them. I remember it well. I was ringside for that fight. And Lara had to like come and get some because Jared Hurd was like nonstop. So the whole age-old adage, styles make fights. Styles make fights. Styles make fights. George Kambosos did not do any of the things that he said he was going to do. It's that simple. And Devin Haney picked him off, jabbed his lights out, and moved in there swiftly. Offense, defense, in and out like a bank robbery. In and out like the burger. And he just toyed with him. It looked like a sparring session. But it's so funny in the world of boxing that you got old media and the racist and the truly biased in boxing. They blame the guy who's winning, the technician, the tactician who's winning. Like, can you imagine in any other industry or situation doing what old media does, right? Devin Haney's pitching a shutout and you're mad at the guy pitching the shutout. That would be like the Orkin man or somebody coming to spray pesticides, you know, like a pest control person, and you're mad at them because you got roaches. You see that? You see how? Listen, I'm the king of analogy. If you called the Orkin man or Clark, we need you, Clark, and you call pest control, and you say, hey, I got an infestation, cockroaches everywhere. And then they come and survey and say, oh, yeah, you got this infestation. You wouldn't be mad at the pest control. They didn't make your house dirty. You got crumbs all on the cabinet, you know what I mean, on the counter. You got crumbs on the counter, fool. That's why you got the roaches. You dirty. You living in squalor. And you mad, you know what I mean? You mad at the pest control because they went out and did their job. You know, and that, like I said, I'm a unique person, and the more I get into boxing, the deeper I get, the more I realize I'm just bred different. I'm bred king, like I'm Simba. Like, this is something different you get with me because I tell you what it is, and I keep it real. You know what I mean? I can't speak for no one else. I'm just speaking on behalf of me. Kambosos did not make no adjustments. That's his fault. You was fighting in front of your hometown crowd. Go knock this dude out. Go swing that right crazy. But what happens when you in there with the stylistic nightmare, these fighters, they got, the brain cells that they have left, they not trying to take the chance. And if they take the chance, they're going to get stopped, dropped, shut them down, open up shop, or they're going to win the fight. Those are your only options in a situation like that. Those are your options. You either turn the fight around by like beating them, dropping them, stopping them, or the more aggressive you get, they're going to use it against you and you're going to get dropped. You're going to get stopped because you're opening up and you're desperate. And what happens is it takes a real special breed of fighter to all that rah, machismo stuff to be getting in there. And this guy got your timing down. He got a rhythm on you. You're in front of 50,000 people, and to still say he's going to A, knock me out or knock me down or embarrass me worse, but I'm going to turn up and go out on my shield. So a lot of guys just pack it in. Teofimo had major health issues. You capping, bro. What, you his doctor? Bro, block him. Get him out of here, bro. Get these bums out of my chat. I don't even want to see them. Bro, it's over for y'all. Go watch someone else's channels. Bro, if Kambosos would have got knocked out by Teofimo, ain't nobody would be saying no injury and blown up anus and esophagus and all that, sphincters. Nah, we're not doing that. Bro, Teo said he from New York, right? The fight happened in New York. New York has one of the strictest commissions. New York has one of the strictest commissions. So if he had a blew up esophagus and all this other stuff, then how they let him fight? California and New York got the strictest commissions in boxing, combat sports. Why would they allow Teofimo to fight if he had all these pre-existing injuries? So why didn't listen, I'm not doing these excuses with y'all. Teofimo, why doesn't he sue New York State, sue your hometown, because they let you fight and you shouldn't have been eligible? But he's not going to sue New York because it's all cap. Bro, if someone put your life at risk, they said he was finna die. You see what I'm saying? They said if Teofimo got punched a couple more times wrong, he could have died. That's what this alleged doctor said. So you mean to tell me New York State Athletic Commission, they put you in a situation where you were about to die. You're going to die according to them, and you ain't suing them for putting your life in that potential peril. Stop it. Cap. Fluff pieces. Damage control. Devin went overseas. King Grayson, my guy. Bro, King Grayson is funny. Devin went overseas and he toyed with this man and made it look easy. I don't want to hear, it's boring and all that. Bro, what's boring is George Kambosos not doing anything. Bro, listen, no matter win, lose, or draw, that's one thing I do give respect to Amir Khan for. That's what I do give Amir Khan. Because this man, Amir Khan, got heart for show. And Amir Khan knew he ain't had no chin for real. And that never stopped him. Listen, Amir Khan probably one of the bravest fighters in the last 20 years. I'm not saying the best fighter ever, but I'm saying one of the bravest, because to know you ain't got no chin for real and jump in the smoke with Canelo and Danny Garcia, he really be trying. He really be trying though. Shout out to Tevin Smith. I got the Cash App. Appreciate you. He sent $50. Bro, I'm not hearing none of that excuses running, injured. You know, credit to Camboso. He's not making the excuses. He just said, better man won, I'll come back correct. I respect that. But I'm talking about old media now. Bro, the man masterclassed him in enemy territory. Get over it. Bro, the old media finna come out with that NBF list. It's about to come back with a vengeance. No black fighters. The way the first 6 months have went, that no black fighter NBF list is finna be come back on fleek. Devin said he stayed in first gear, straight dismantled. We got $1 cash app from Dion. Appreciate you. I didn't even watch the press conference because I've been working the fight, from the cribbo. And that's exactly what I said, bro. He didn't even have to, you didn't challenge him. You had to, put him in a position of fight or flight or whatever, or, where he has to bite down. Even Linares did it. Bro, Joseph Jojo Diaz did better than George Kambosos. Jorge Linares did better than Kambosos. Shout out Ego, everyone here. Devin has enough pop to keep dudes honest. Devin, and the old media, just listen. Old media, all they do is lie, bro. Old media says, so when there's a white fighter or a non-black fighter, like a Greek fighter and Aussie fighter like Kambosos, nobody's insulting him. Nobody says, oh, he can't hit. Nobody says he's weak. But here's the fun fact. Devin Haney has more fights than Kambosos, and he has a higher knockout percentage than Kambosos. Devin has leading up to the fight, Devin's record was 27-0. They both were undefeated. Devin Haney was 27-0 with 55% knockouts, and Kambosos was 20-0 with 50% knockouts. So once again, you see the racists, they just talk just to be saying stuff in the world of boxing. People keep insulting Devin Haney, email champ, pillow fisted, he a rat, he an informant, yada, yada, yada. But what you're saying, the shoe don't even fit. You said Devin Haney, I'm not saying, listen, there's levels to power. I think Rolly has more power than Devin or Tank, but they all have their own style. So that's boxing for you. But just to say that no one insults Kambosos' power, but he has less fights and fewer knockouts and a lower percentage, and nobody insults Kambosos. But then they say Devin Haney's pillow fisted. You see what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Bro, who is this dude? Yeah, man. So Devin, he went out there overseas. This is one of the major problems. I'm about to drop major keys. This is one of the major problems in boxing. Boxing has a lot of almost misdirected anger, right? Misdirected anger. And it's usually, from what I've seen from old media, is usually against black fighters or Cuban fighters. That is the two demographics that I've seen it look more, you know what I'm saying? Look more apparent with. So what do I mean? What do I mean? Yo, Ego, you know what it might be? Maybe not Devin's sheer blunt force power, but Devin's sharpness and accuracy, even while being punched at his crazy accuracy shots in any spot hurt, period. That's what I'm saying. And my thing is this, for those icy boxers too, for those that know boxing, my thing is this. People said this with Floyd, they're oh, he's pillow fit. Okay, first of all, Floyd moved up 5 weight categories. So he's not the biggest person there. And he was older than some of the people he was fighting, like Canelo anyway. So you're fighting bigger guys, you got to fight intelligently, especially if you have hand issues and brittle hands. That's why Floyd wear the orthopedic gloves, right? Things like that. So you have to take all these into consideration. But Floyd obviously was doing stuff that were keeping people where they don't just bum rush him. How come, bro, how come Maidana just doesn't walk all over him? Like, look at what Sean Porter did to Paulie Malignaggi. He didn't respect nothing. You know what I'm saying? He didn't respect nothing. So, you know, when people are being surgical in the sweet science, it's always disrespected. But like, oh, Andre Ward, he's not a killer. Devin Haney's not a killer. Oh, Floyd's not a killer. And they continue to disrespect certain styles. But okay, go in there and bully Andre Ward and then tell me how that works out for you. Sullivan Barrera had like an 83% knockouts. And he was undefeated when Andre Ward fought him. Andre Ward had just moved up to a new division. How come you don't just bully Andre Ward then? Same thing with Floyd. Just run in there and blaze him in the 50-0 and all that. Same thing with Devin. George Kambosos. He got power. Okay, then go blaze Devin. You at home, there's 50,000 people voting for you or betting and rooting for you. Go blaze him then. But again, like I said, it's misdirected anger. Misdirected anger. People want to blame the victor and the winner for winning more than they want to blame the losers for stinking up the joint, laying the egg and losing. That's cap. That's cap, bro. Bro. Like, here's an example. I'm a big dude. If somebody said ego, that baby has some sweet tarts in their hand. Go take that sweet tarts out of that baby's hand. Hey, block this dude, bro. I can't look at him no more. Bro, I can't. Icy, somebody, come on, bro. I can't look at him no more. Thank you, Niter. God dang. The people want to blame the victor. Exactly. So, peep this. If somebody said, yo, ego, I'm a big dude, keep in mind. Somebody said, yo, ego, take these sweet tarts out that baby's hand, I'll give you $1 million. Bro, say less. It's over. It's over for the baby. I see you stupid, bro. That's funny. If somebody said, ego, take this candy out this baby's hand, I'll give you $1 million. Say less. It's on. Because I know there's nothing the baby can do to stop me. Look at boxing. People keep saying, oh, this guy's pillow fisted. Oh, he's no power and all that. Okay, then it should be taking candy from a baby. Go do something about it. But then they don't, and they're paralyzed in fear, and they're like waiting and hesitant and gun-shy. Bro, I told you, styles make fight. Styles make fights. We know for a fact Teofimo got power for his weight class. So you got to ask yourself these questions. Instead of like people having misdirected anger, ask yourself and assess it like this. We know Teofimo for sure has power at 135, right? How come George Kambosos was willing to let his hands go against a guy that has great pop that can knock you out at 35? He's willing to let his hands go more than Devin Haney and people insulting his punching power. So what is Devin doing differently? Styles make fights, skills pay the bills. Why? Listen to what I'm saying. Like, if you've seen two people in front of two doors, one person has a butter knife and one person has a sledgehammer. And then the person with the sledgehammer is built like Jason Voorhees. And the person with the butter knife, the person with the butter knife, so it's door one and door two. Door one has somebody who's leaner and skinnier, and they got a butter knife. Door number 2 is this dude built like Michael Myers, built like Jason Voorhees with a sledgehammer. What door would you enter in through? What door would you? Door 1 has some skinny looking dude with a butter knife, and then door 2 has Jason Voorhees built dude with a jumpsuit, and he got a sledgehammer. What do you pick? What door would you be going through just off of the perception? He said, I'm knocking door 1 down. Exactly. Everybody in here knows they would take door 1. You see this hulking figure, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, he got a sledgehammer. Man, what? So fast forward and compare it to boxing. How come Teofimo got the sledgehammer and old media says Devin Haney got a butter knife? Then why is George Kambosos more comfortable throwing against the guy with the sledgehammer than the guy with the butter knife? Styles make fights. Skills pay the bills. George Kambosos fighting Devin, he looked confused. He looked led astray. He looked befuddled. He was getting broke down surgically. So, yeah, there's guys that would rather deal with pure blunt force trauma and power than to have to fight somebody who's surgical. And that's what we see in boxing. George Kambosos, he threw less. I don't even have to look at Kambosos' CompuBox. I don't even have to look at it. I would love for someone to prove me wrong, but I know you can't. Go look at the landed punches in the Teofimo fight and the landed punches in the Devin Haney fight. I guarantee you the Teofimo fight, he probably threw and landed more in the Teofimo fight. And again, we know Teofimo has power. So what does that say about Devin Haney, and what does that say about how Teofimo fought? If you got more power, but you couldn't put it to great use outside of dropping him, but you couldn't do enough to stop him and win the fight or to have boxed him. So that shows you skills pay the bills. That's how boxing works, the sweet science. All that power and stuff, that's cool. That's a good tool to have in your toolkit, but it's not the only tool that you need to have anyway. And like I said, how is it that Kambosos, I don't have to look it up, I already know, landed and threw more with Teofimo, a bulk force puncher or a brute force puncher, than a guy who people keep complaining about. So your complaints are falling on deaf ears over here, because this is a sweet science and we see it all the time, right? You look at Frankie Randall and Julio Cesar Chavez. Who cares who has more power? You know what I'm saying? Who cares who's supposed to be macho and all that? He lost. And it's funny because in boxing, you see it more and more and more. Old media look crazy. Everything they support, all the stuff they say is cap. All the stuff I've said on my channel, look at how it all played out. Look how it's all played out. Yo, the likes are so disrespectful. Y'all got 5 minutes to fix it or I'm out. I've been working all day. Y'all not finna disrespect. Likes or loot. If it's too late and no one's up, that's cool. But if y'all don't want to be here, then I don't want to be here. Period. I tell y'all what I need to operate. So Kambosos did nothing, bro. That's just what it is. So I seen Ryan Garcia. He was out here hating. He was like, oh, boring. Bro, boxing fans need to hold the people in boxing accountable. See, and the funny thing is, I'm big enough to do it. I could say that because I don't care if y'all hold me accountable. You know why? Because ain't nothing going to change. Hold me accountable for everything I say. Hold me accountable for that. I'm with that. That's the smoke I like. Listen, boxing needs accountability. People don't want to hold people accountable in boxing except for me. You fans, y'all need to hold people accountable. How are you letting a guy who's pulling out with anxiety, who's watching the fight, hating on the fight, and saying it's super boring? Bro, he's doing something that you didn't do. So what are we talking about? You're at home watching. You pulled out of the Fortuna fight and said you have anxiety, and it took you a year, and Joseph Jojo Diaz had to beat Fortuna, and then now you're ready to fight him. Meanwhile, a black American fighter, Devin Haney, fought the guy that beat the guy. He fought Fortuna conqueror Joseph Jojo Diaz. So Ryan has no room to say anything. Let me run that back. Ryan was supposed to fight Javier Fortuna. He was considered a dark horse or boogeyman in the 135 category. And he was also, I think, Devin Haney's mandatory or something, or he was getting close there, right? Ryan pulled out, say, oh, I got too much in my life, girl problems, whatever, drama. And he pulled out of the fight with Fortuna when he was the boogeyman. He left it to Mexican-American fighter Joseph Jojo Diaz, and Diaz looked sensational and beat Fortuna and made it look pretty easy. He dominated Fortuna for real. Then you have a black American fighter, Devin Haney, who Joseph Jojo Diaz, off of one of his greatest performances, and I would probably say it's better than the Tevin Farmer performance because he had a nasty cut. So that was kind of like it was a win, but it was like the Fortuna, he didn't get cut or nothing, and he just like dominated him. So you have a black fighter in Devin Haney who fought Joseph Jojo Diaz at his fever pitch. He was coming off best recent win against Javier Fortuna, the guy that was the boogeyman that Ryan was supposed to fight and pulled out of with anxiety. Then Joseph Jojo Diaz tries to fight Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia pulled out of that. And Ryan Garcia said, oh, my hand, my neck and my back, and pulled out of that fight. Then Joseph Jojo Diaz had no choice but to fight Devin Haney because Eddie Hearn at the time and DAZN ponied up and said, we'll offer whatever you were going to get that was reported for you to fight Ryan Garcia, and Devin got a WBC belt. So guess what? Devin Haney fought Joseph Jojo Diaz coming off of the Fortuna win, the guy that Ryan was supposed to fight. I mean, this is all common knowledge stuff, but hopefully me using my platform and voice is giving y'all perspective. So this is back-to-back fights where Devin Haney was ridiculed for X, Y, and Z from old media, and he's fighting guys off of their best performances coming into the fight. George Kambosos was coming off Teofimo. Teofimo, that was his best ever career win, best name, and Teofimo was coming off his best ever win versus Lomachenko. So you see how everything lines up. George Kambosos was the first title defense after Teo fought Loma and beat him, right? Kambosos just beat Teo in a dominant fashion, and then Devin just beat him to become undisputed. So Ryan has no say-so in this. And I don't care how many Instagram followers he has. It's cap. All that's cap. You can say nothing, sir. It's like somebody who's homeless, saying, oh, you only got a 1-bedroom. Man, get the out of here, bro. Bro, if you live in a nice, townhouse or, nice studio apartment or a home, and you only got one bed, one bath, and someone's like, you only got 1 bed, 1 bath. You're homeless. Don't say nothing to me. Like, bro. Yeah, like y'all sound stupid. And this is what y'all allow in boxing. I've had people do that on my YouTube. Oh, you only got 200,000 subs. You go to their page, they got 5 subs. What are we talking about? So yeah, okay, I only got 200,000. You're like, oh, you're a small channel, only 200,000. Huh? They got 5 subs. Don't talk to me, bro. What can you say? What can you say to the king when you're a peasant? You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense, bro. So him saying, "Oh, boring." Speaking of Ryan talking about somebody fight was boring. That African fight, bro. I listen. If I'm gonna do some African stuff, I'd rather go see the Lion King play. I want to see that when it came out to San Francisco, bro. That African fight was horrible, and it meant nothing. Nobody asked you to fight him, bro. Nobody asked Ryan to fight that African dude, and it was no like all the belts on the line. It wasn't no meaningful fight. So how you gonna talk about the next person fight being boring when you were in a worse fight because it meant nothing, and that was boring, and you couldn't get him out of there. And that African dude look, see, and this is see, like, bro, what do did, bro? I'm literally the greatest in boxing history because y'all just be saying anything. If I wasn't doing videos, y'all would just clearly be saying and letting anything ride, bro. Ryan look 2 weight classes bigger than the gods must be crazy. That African dude, the tribal dude or whatever. Oh, I'm a gonna pepper. Bro, Ryan looked way bigger. So bro, listen how much worse this sounds. You look huge next to Emmanuel Togos. No one wanted to see you fight Emmanuel Togos, but next to him, you look way bigger. You look like you're in different weight classes, right? You're known for speed and power and duck lips and all this type of stuff, and doing the body shot challenge and melting people with the body shield challenge and all that. You're known for speed and power. You call yourself the Flash. You look considerably bigger, and you couldn't really do nothing with this dude to get him out of here. Using your skills, using your speed, and using your power, which you're known for, and a guy looking much smaller, coming off a longer layoff than you, already had a loss. You didn't do anything. So what does that say about your ring IQ? If you got the talent in terms of speed and power, natural gifts, but you can't do nothing with him. So it's like, what are we talking about, bro? And then on top of that, the fight meant nothing. Like, it wasn't like this all belts on the line. So it's like crazy, bro. Crazy what we're hearing. So yeah, I don't need to hear anything from Ryan talking about the next person. Ryan just be talking to hear himself talk. He talking about like Tank. Oh, don't make sure our fight's not like that, bro. You won't even fight Tank. Oscar De La Hoya, he gonna get some more utensils before he make the Tank fight. Book it, book it, bro. It's like no one wants to hear this perpetual talk from Ryan Garcia. Richmond Brown, let's go. He sent $3 in the Cash App. Canelo lost, no boring label. Devin won, boring. That's a good one. Yeah. We got a $5 Cash App from Rob Williams for the boxing. Appreciate y'all. It's just everything about it looks bad. It's just like you talking, your Togo fight meant nothing. He looked way smaller, was running. You couldn't do nothing with him. And you the one with power. That's like, to me, that's boring because like Devin Haney's using his skills to get his job done. You know what I'm saying? To capture the dub. Ryan Garcia, the skills he's supposed to have, where were they? You know what I'm saying? Where were the skills he had, like the speed and power? That's supposed to be on full display. You heard him. then you couldn't do nothing with him. So that becomes boring to me. And then most of all, you could have fought Devin Haney. You could have fought Devin Haney. Why you ain't fight him? And it's funny. Notice the Dare to Be Great crowd disappear when it's a black fighter like Devin Haney. Y'all notice that? Like Devin Haney went to Australia. He was willing to fight with or without his dad. He was willing to fight possibly with or without his cut men. He was on enemy territory, enemy soil. He endured email champ name calling, insults, got called a rat, an informant. Kambosos missed weight. And then you see the performance he put up, and you see the performance Kambosos put up, but the racists in the old media, they more mad at the black fighter for doing what he wanted when he wanted and dominating than they are about the Greek Aussie dude who did all this. He like Devin literally did everything that he said. He said, I'm going to neutralize and nullify his best weapons. That's what he said. That's what he did. All that rat informant, I'm going to sleep him. I'm in front of my crowd. I'm going to blaze him. And all that stuff Kambosos was saying, none of that showed up. You've been picked, boy. Listen, but somehow, some way, the racists in old media, they mad at Devin Haney. Devin Haney also said what I said. He didn't want to fight me. He had no choice but to fight me. Now, after seeing how it played out, do you really think Kambosos' side really wanted to fight Devin Haney? Because that was an easy fight for me to predict. Y'all let me rob the bank. Y'all let me rob the bank. That was an easy fight for me to pick. That was easy. I get paid the big bucks for that. All right. So everything Devin Haney said came into fruition. The stuff Kambosos said didn't. He said Kambosos tried to break his arm. I don't even know. I told you he was frustrated. Kambosos wanted Devin to come out swarming like Tio in the Rage. Facts. He was trying to sell the fight. Bro, what you mean you can't blame him? So we can't hold people accountable for what they say. That's what you're saying. That's what y'all saying. So Kambosos can just be a leaky faucet and say anything, miss weight, and he's trying to sell the fight. Like, really? But again, you guys see it with old media. When they have more energy and animosity for the person who did what they wanted and won than they do for the person who fails their country, fails 50,000 people. It's so predictable. It's so predictable. You have more per usual. You have more criticisms and critique for a black fighter who had his way with the other fighter and dominated. And then all this dare to be great stuff. Canelo dared to be great. So Devin Haney going overseas across the pond, that's not daring to be great? And whooping Kambosos in that fashion? And like, nah, it's boring. Bro, it wasn't boring. Canelo, he didn't look better than Kambosos. To be honest, bro, listen. The only thing Canelo did is in the first couple rounds, he threw hard punches. But he wasn't having a lot of success with that style. And then as soon as Bivol started tearing him up, he just gave up. So how is that any better, bro? He gets once again. You guys see the double standard. Shout out to Bernard, bro. Canelo had everything in his favor. Everything. Judges. The fight was in Las Vegas, where he picked. He got the lion's share of money. He was the guy that had planned the Triple G fight, even though he hadn't cleared Bivol. Eddie Hearn's in love with him. You know what I'm saying? Everything was in Canelo's favor, and he still came up mad short. He didn't go for broke, like, oh man, I need to knock out the win, let me blaze him. Bro, his trainer said in the 12th round, leading into the 12th round, Eddie Reynoso said, hit, throw 2 punches and move. Show the best of yourself. And then Canelo lost that round too. How does your coach tell you to show the best of yourself and then you lose again? You lose another round. But then, again, old media got more smoke and more complaints for Devin Haney, and he's called boring and all this type of stuff, all these double standards. But Canelo's not boring. What did Canelo do? Like I said, the only thing I give him more so than Kambosos is in the first 2-3 rounds, he was throwing hard punches, but it wasn't having an effect. It wasn't like putting Bivol on the back foot, like when he didn't want to be. He wasn't having success with it. Daquandre, what's up? So it's like, how is Canelo revered for losing to Bivol? Valdez is daring to be great for losing to Shakur, but then when Devin Haney wins under the circumstances he won, it's like, nah, it's all critiques and it's boring and, you know, this is not what I wanted and all that type of stuff. Come on, bro. So that's what I said. Boxing has a real life issue. Boxing wants to credit the loser. Losers. Like, I'm not saying losers at life. I'm saying losers in the contest. How you give more credit to the loser unless it was a robbery and then the person really shouldn't have lost, type of like Pacquiao, Jeff Horn. You know what I'm saying? What part of the game is that where you lose and you get more praise than people who win? In no other sport does that really happen. Golden State Warriors, let's go, Bay Area. If they win the ship, ain't nobody worried about the Celtics at that given moment. You're not gonna be like, oh, Steph Curry, why didn't he shoot more and make it more exciting? Take some more challenging shots. Why didn't he do more circus layups? Bro, the object of competition is to win. You can always watch tape and correct little things and work on this and that. You got to win. George Kambosos, he laid an egg. Devin Haney went out there to win against all odds. Spatulas on deck. Dev went around the world to fight for pennies on the dollar. Now who's daring to be great? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we got to change the culture in boxing. At least, definitely my culture. You know what I'm saying? People want to give all this credit to loser, like the loser of the contest. That just, it sounds stupid. Shout out to Alex Velez Peak, my guy. He sent $5. Listen, we making money. It's like 1:45 in the morning for me. We getting that money though. Listen, we getting to that bag still. This is just the wrap up show. He says Alex says Devin won fair and square. There should be no complaints. Absolutely. Bro, for me, the world I live in is the real world. The world I live in makes sense. I'm not giving no person, unless they were shafted, I'm not giving them more credit than the person that did what they wanted and dominate. Like, I'm not giving Canelo more credit than Bivol. I'm not giving Valdez more credit than Shakur. I'm not giving Kambosos more credit. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds stupid. Now, I'm not saying you can't, someone lose a fight, you can't give them credit. Of course you can. Like Erickson Lubin. I give him credit because he fought this giant guy and he was trading blows with it. And he was, he went out on his shield. Like, and see, this is the thing that this is crazy. I'm going to ask a real life question, and it's going to hurt some feelings. I'll use two black fighters, black American fighters that lost their high profile fights recently. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, part 3, and also Erickson Lubin versus Fundora. Now, using those two black American fighters, Wilder, Fury 3, Wilder got knocked out, and Erickson Lubin versus Fundora. Great fights. The black fighter lost in those equations, right? My question to you is this. Looking at how Fundora got knocked out, looking at how Wilder got knocked out, can you honestly say that George Kambosos versus Devin Haney, Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson, or Canelo Alvarez versus Dimitri Bivol, can you say that they went out on their shield in the same fashion? Were they willing to go out on their shield the same way as Erickson Lubin and Wilder? That's my question to you. Y for yes, N for no. Can you say that Canelo did everything he could, even if it meant succumbing or getting embarrassed further and or getting knocked out, to beat Bivol? My man said, heck nah. Exactly. Everyone's saying no. So, like I said, all fights, all losses are not equal. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I think all boxing fans, anybody, like Castano even, we'll use Castano. He lost, but he fought his butt off until he lost. You see what I'm saying? I'm not mad at that. So, Wilder, Wilder, Lubin, and Castano. Can we honestly say that how Castano, I'm not mad at people that go out like a G. Castano, okay, he got knocked out. So you could look at all them losses and say, hey, there was knockout losses, they worse, but they willing to make it worse to try to make the fight a victory. So that I'm with that because that's life. You know what I'm saying? If you shoot for the moon, you might land on the stars. I'm not mad at that. So even Castano is another recent loss of a person where I can say from what I've seen from an outsider looking in, he gave it his all, bro. Like he was like super competitive until he got beat. And that's cool because that happens because you're willing to, it's just like the way of the samurai almost. You know what I'm saying? If somebody sword went to your armor first, then it just, you got. You know what I mean? That's cool. That happens. That's boxing. But I can't say Canelo went out like Castano, like Wilder, like Lubin. He looked like he was just, oh, hell no. Nah. I'm getting beat. Judges save me. That's Canelo's game plan. Canelo's game plan was like, I really feel that. I feel like Canelo's game plan was, judges, y'all better help me out. Help me out. Please, judge, please help me out. And then he tried to do the typical, oh, I was robbed. But the judges couldn't even save Canelo. That's how bad it was. That's why it looked so horrible. Because it's like you didn't keep it close enough and you got blazed and blown out. Like, so it's like it wasn't close enough for you to even be complaining about robberies and stuff like that. And then the same goes for Kambosos. Like I didn't see like this Castano, Wilder, Lubin tenacity and willingness to go out on shield if need be. So that's why those fights look like that. You know what I'm saying? And you can't get mad at the victor. You can't be mad at Bevel. You can't be mad at Shakur. You know what I'm saying? You can't be mad at Devin. You got to be mad at the loser for not, doing the extra things to try to turn the fight around. Because at the end of the day, like I said, boxing is a tough sport. It's a tough business. If you do them extra things to try to turn the fight in your favor, you could get knocked out. That's just how it works. That's how the game goes. You do all this extra trying to get the fight on your side, then you could be a victim. You know what I'm saying? And the amount Canelo's fans talked, Valdez fans and Valdez talked about, oh, Shakur said I'm afraid of him. I've never been afraid of any man. All that tough talk, and then Shakur dog walked you. All the stuff, oh, he's a rat. This guy's an informant. All the stuff Devin Haney was being called and all that, whoosh, out the window. And that's boxing. But like I said, I think, like, at least on my channel, I'm going to continue to move the needle and change the culture for the good. And the culture, I'm not crediting the losers of contests more than I'm giving the winner credit. That's just like, it just is senseless to me. It makes no sense. Like, oh, Devin Haney, let me critique everything he did. Bro, he did what he wanted. His game plan worked. Like, how you mad at the... It's like if we're all in a math class and you seen Devin Haney, he solved the math problem. George Kambosos couldn't solve the math problem. He's the one that needs to go after school with the tutor. Why are you going to give him an A+? How you get an A+ for failing the test? How you get an A+ and you can't solve the math problem? And then the person that got the A, that should have got the real A+, you're critiquing. Oh, hey, why'd you do this? Why didn't you do that? That doesn't even make sense. And this is, man, the NBF list. Now you see why it exists in boxing. No black fighter. All that cap from ESPN, all that cap talking about, oh, Tio's undisputed and George Kambosos is undisputed and Devin Haney is an email champ. All that stuff look crazy right now. Bro, you look crazy. All that stupid stuff. All that stuff that they were saying look crazy at this point. You did all that. And this is why you see certain guys with certain styles get avoided. Because, okay, so look it. Old media is down so bad. Old media is down so bad. Just hear me out. If I don't make sense, just let me know. But y'all know it makes sense. So, if somebody like Boxing Ego says something and puts it on wax several times over, shout out to my man Alex Velez. Watch this. If somebody such as myself, Boxing Ego, says something and puts it on wax, and I keep telling you it, and I'm passionate about it, and then you see how it plays out, you got to look at it with what I said on my channel, with the information that I put out on my channel. Do these things support what I was saying, or do these things denounce and disprove what I was saying? For example, Shakur Stevenson had called out Oscar Valdez for several years. I told you about this. And I said Oscar Valdez wants no parts of Shakur Stevenson. NBF list, no black fighter, right? Valdez, he did the Blood, Sweat, and Tears show. And he said, oh, I've never been afraid of any man and all this stuff. And I got to show him because he said I'm a ducker and I ducked him and I would never duck anybody because I'm a man and all that. That's what he said on the Blood, Sweat, and Tears. When you seen how the fight played out, when you seen that even at the face-off before, when they were in the, in the streets facing off in Vegas, Oscar Valdez was like looking away. He didn't look like he really wanted to fight Shakur Stevenson. Body language. And then you see how the fight played out. Does Shakur's performance either A, support that notion that he didn't want to fight Shakur for years, or does it B, prove it wrong and disprove it? When you see it was a dominant shutout, like it wasn't even a close fight. Same thing with Devin Haney. Devin Haney and Boxing Ego both said on my channel, and Devin Haney said in the interviews, said that George Kambosos did not want to fight Devin Haney as his first choice. I said it, Devin said it. You see how the fight played out. Does that make me look bad? Does it make Devin Haney look bad? Does it disprove what we were trying to tell you? Or does it look like it actually supports what we were trying to tell you? That's my question to you. So you keep looking, the proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? The proof is in the pudding. People keep saying, oh, this is not true, and these certain fighters aren't avoided and all that. But you look at the actual fight, and then when it does happen, if it happens in the right time, and then now you see why it wasn't happening. You see what I'm saying? So if Shakur says Valdez ducked and then they fight and then he gets dominated, now you see why. Like if anything, it looks like it supports it. It looks like, oh, okay, this is why you didn't want to fight him. Same thing with George Kambosos. George Kambosos is like, oh yeah, I wanted to fight him. And I'm like, nah, I don't think George Kambosos truly wanted to fight Devin Haney. Look at how the fight played out. Now you see why he didn't want to go, why Lomachenko was his first choice. You know what I'm saying? Why Ryan Garcia, these guys were people that Team Kambosos preferred. And that's just what it is. So like I said, people, they can say whatever they want, but men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Proof is in the pudding. You could say, oh yeah, I want to fight this guy. We know that. I think Tank will stop Loma. I think Tank will stop Loma. I really feel like I know Tank will stop Loma. Loma just jumps in. What's he gonna do? And they're both southpaws. I think the Loma fight would look ugly for Loma. I think it would look truly ugly. I think the Tank fight would be better for Loma. I'm not saying he would win, but if Tank was an orthodox fighter. But the fact that he's southpaw, I don't give Loma no shot. None. Bro, and see, like I said, notice the stuff I say, and then look at how it, excuse me, look at how it manifests. I tell you that I'm like, this guy don't want to fight this guy. And then people are like, oh, you're hating. And then when they finally fight, as long as they don't wait too long or something crazy, if they do it, then you see everything I said and why I said it. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to Kane and D Moten. Appreciate you. So, yeah, man. Devin Haney, I don't have no complaints. He took the risk. He believed in him. Like, I really don't even want to see a rematch because I like George Kambosos. It's only gonna be worse. It's like a big brother and a little brother. If you know you can't whoop your little brother, you can't whoop your big brother, then why do I need to see that again? Like, bro, if you're 12 and your older brother's 17 and you try to whoop him and he just beat you and you can't, he's just too big, he's too tall, and he's dipping you, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't F with big bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't even see why we like need to see Devin Haney. I don't even know, would ESPN want the fight again? Kambosos laid an egg in Australia, and because he couldn't get off like his regular aggressive self, then it just became a one-sided fight. You know, I don't know what that does for the ratings, but like, you know what I'm saying? There were no moments where it looked like Devin Haney lost control. To me, I ain't see it. So, you know, I don't know what that does for ratings versus like when Rolly was fighting Tank and Rolly looked serious. Like Rolly looked like he truly was trying to knock out Tank and pick his shots, and then Tank was trying to pick his shots, and then Rolly, you know, elbowed Tank. I think those you know, the ratings are going to be higher just because it's like some level of like mystery or whatever. Devin Haney, what he did early, he did late and throughout. So it was really just a one-sided affair. So I don't know that I need to see a rematch of that. Because what is like, that's rematch listen. Rematch clauses are tricky because people just write them into the contract, but there should be like certain parameters. Like if you lose 10, 11, 12 rounds, then I don't have to rematch you. There has to be some kind of, you know what I'm saying? There has to be some kind of like modifications that could be done, because it's like, why hold up the division and the belts when the rematch, it was decided. Like I'm not a fan of rematches when the first outcome was decided and it was decisive. You know what I'm saying? Like I can tolerate like Joshua Ruiz just because Joshua hurt Ruiz first and then he got hurt and then never recovered. So it's like, all right, he had the rematch clause, run that back. That's cool. It's heavyweight. He got caught lacking. He was the champ. Okay, cool. But like the type of performance Cambosos put, I just don't really see what you're going to do different. Like, you're going to need new legs and new fist and liposuction and Botox and collagen in your lips. Like, you have to become a whole new man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, from what I've seen, you have to get a different haircut, get some more tattoos. You know what I'm saying? A facelift, Botox. You're going to have to get all that. Lip fillers. You're going to have to get all that, like, to make me believe that I need to see that again. Come on, Oz is petty. He said he ate. That referee was tripping, though. That referee could have stopped it and should have stopped it. Hey, block Oz Boxing. Enough of your foolish comments. Block Oz Boxing. So sick of seeing your name. Old media having a terrible year. Anyway, I'm about to get out of here. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace and blessings. Shout to Daquan. Listen how my shooters talk. He said, it's done, ego. I love it. He said, it's done, ego. That's say less. That's my guy, Daquandre. Let's get it. Yeah, I don't really want to see a rematch. I'd rather see Devin move on. I don't know who else ESPN have him in mind, but I'd rather see something else. You know what I mean? Because George, he didn't show me enough. He didn't show me enough that shows me that that's a good fight. I'd rather see Teofimo and Devin, to be honest. No cap. Straight like that, no cap. I'd rather see T.O. and Devin. Because, like, or even T.O. and Devin, T.O. and Kambosos again. It's not every fight doesn't need a rematch just because you wrote it in the contract. He's saying, I thought the fight was close. I was landing good shots. Bro, T.O. said he had air in his lungs. Man, I don't care if he had air in his maxes. Like, bro, he lost bad. Yeah, listen. I gotta watch Cool Boy Fulton's fight, and then I gotta give him his just due. I gotta give him his just due. I couldn't watch it though because of the Devin fight. Shout out to my man Daquandre. He sent $1 in the Cash App. My guy. He said, "Man, great show tonight, Ego." Yeah, man, we working. We working. He said Loma couldn't handle Teo's power. Imagine how he would react to tanks. He would react to tanks. He would handle it when he wake up. When Loma woke up, that's when he handled it. When he had to fill out the medical papers. Loma would get bodied by Tank, bruh. Loma would get bodied, seriously. Bro, I literally, listen, this is gonna sound crazy. I know some people are gonna be mad as heck when I say this. Bro, I think Rolly is truly more dangerous than Lomachenko for Tank. I know it sounds insane because people like look at whatever they look at. Bro, I think Rolly was more dangerous than Tank. I mean than Loma. Because Rolly he's just too big and he hit too hard. So it's like Rolly can really Rolly showed me tapes and stuff and sparring and all types of stuff. Bro, he hits. Like Loma's not a one-punch knockout guy at all. At all. He threw 1,000 punches at Pedraza and couldn't stop him. Tank threw calculated shots and stopped him. So Loma is not a one-punch guy. So take that out the question. Rolly started boxing at 17 or late, and he comes from martial arts. It's just he's a weird style. And he knows he has power. At least he was undefeated. Loma's not even undefeated either. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with that type of power and that's why Tank threw few punches. Because he had to let Rolly get that, just stay within a safe zone while Rolly got that off and then time him and pick his shot surgically. Because Rolly has game-changing power, bro. Rolly has single shot, I can turn things around power. Loma doesn't. And Loma likes to throw punches and bunches. All that matrix stuff on the southpaw, man, stop. Make the fight. I would love Tank versus Loma. Make the fight. But I'm pretty sure I know how that fight plays out. Anyway, I'm going to holler at y'all later today. Appreciate y'all on the Boxing Ego watch party. I got to give my voice a rest. Such a great night of boxing. A lot of stuff, a lot of fights. I'll be back once I'm well rested and we'll be able to talk about it more. Salute Ego's Army, Boxing Ego watch party, and I'm out.